Hello, Flosstube! I'm Cindy, this is Georgia Stitcher, and this is
Emily.
Emily's my daughter. How old are you, Emily?
8.
8, okay. And so this is our very first video, so please have patience with us. We thought we would try to do a Flosstube. We've started watching a bunch on YouTube and found a bunch of people to follow. Emily is my crafty daughter. I have 2 daughters. Emily, who's 8, is the one that's most interested in crafts, although Cameron, my 10-year-old, also likes to do some crafts, and you'll get to see a little bit of what she has worked on. I also have a 17-year-old stepson, and we live in, what state do we live in? Georgia. And we live actually just kind of south of Atlanta in an area called Peachtree City. So, we thought we would first start with the Know Your Needle Maker tag, and so we could tell you a little bit more about us pretty quickly, and then we will get into our projects. So first, I am going to Emily's going to interview me. Speak loud.
Where do you live?
We live in Georgia, south of Atlanta, in Peachtree City.
What do you do for a living?
I am a lawyer, so I've been practicing law for about 18 years. I graduated law school in 2002, and about 8 years ago, right after this one was born, I opened my own law firm here in Georgia, and now I do exclusively criminal defense, representing folks who have been charged with misdemeanors and felonies here in Georgia. I have one law partner, and it is wonderful. Got a great practice, so that's what I do.
Do you have any children?
Yes, we've already answered that one. I have this one. I have one more daughter who's 10, who's lurking in the background, and I have a 17-year-old stepson. Go ahead.
Do you have any pets?
Yes, and I'm going to save that one and let her talk about our pets.
What are your other hobbies besides stitching?
Well, as far as crafty hobbies, I've kind of tried a lot of different things. I've done diamond painting. I did many years of diamond painting. I got really addicted to that and made some big projects, made some custom projects. Have a lot of those on my wall. My husband's not too thrilled, but it is something I really enjoyed for a long time. I've done some knitting and crocheting, and I'll show you some of our finishes on that. And that's kind of mostly are my crafty projects. As far as other hobbies, I have one major hobby that I do a lot right now, and for the last couple of years I have competed in Olympic weightlifting, which is a exercise strength sport. And so I train 3 to 4 days a week on that and travel a little bit around the country to compete for weightlifting because it's really fun and it's a great way to stay active, so I've enjoyed it.
What's your favorite movie?
I watch a ton of movies on Netflix and videos, and so I don't have a all-time favorite movie. When I was a kid, I loved the movie Grease and watched that a lot. So I guess I could say that one, but I don't really have a favorite movie right now.
What's your favorite TV show?
TV show, again, watch a lot of shows right now. As one that's currently going that I love is This Is Us. I think that's a really great drama, so that's one.
What is your favorite book?
I read a lot. Mostly I read audiobooks these days because I'm in the car when I'm working and going to courts and stuff for clients, and so I don't read a lot of hard copy books anymore. But the book that I've read in the last few years that was probably most compelling to me was a fiction book called Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Just was captivating. As a kind of dystopian world where we kind of all live in a virtual world mostly, which is something that is not so far unrealistic in this world of quarantine. So anyway, highly recommend it. Ready Player One.
What is your favorite music?
Music, I like lots of stuff. Kind of only a couple things I really don't like, and that's like really kind of heavy metal rock or heavy metal rap or heavy rap. But I really do like country music and pop mostly.
What word best describes you?
I don't know. What do you think best describes me?
Nice.
Nice? That's sweet. Self-description, I'd say logical. I'm kind of a very analytical, right-brained person who overthink stuff. I'm not terribly creative, which is why I like cross stitch, because I can do patterns and I don't have to create the patterns. I'm never going to be a cross stitch designer, so but I will love all of the work the designers do. So logical, maybe? I don't know. All right, my turn to interview Emily, and we're going to skip to some of the questions that haven't already been answered, but I will let her answer the question, do we have any pets?
We have a dog, and he is a Havanese, and he's a boy, and his name is Scout.
How old is he?
He is almost 1.
Yeah, we've been in puppy phase for almost a year now. It's fun. What are your hobbies other than stitching?
I have a lot. I do a lot of music. Right now I'm doing guitar, ukulele, and piano. I do gymnastics. I did crocheting and knitting, and then I do cheerleading and paint by number and diamond painting, and that's it, I think.
Lots of stuff.
Wait, horseback riding.
Horseback riding. She had a show yesterday. She did her second horseback riding show. What is your favorite movie? Do you have one?
I think it's gonna be Mr. Popper's Penguins for right now.
It changes.
Yeah.
What's your favorite TV show?
I watch a lot of shows, but right now I think it's gonna be Hey Jessie.
Do you have a favorite book?
Probably the series Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And your favorite music?
Probably pop and a little bit of country, but not that much.
She doesn't like the country like I do.
No.
And what is one word that describes you?
Musician.
Musician. Magician? No. Musician. Musician. She's really into music these days, and she's actually been writing a song, which is really cool. So, very proud of her. All right, so that is kind of the Know Your Needleworker tag. Hopefully we got it right. Again, we're totally amateurs at this, so give us a little grace. All right, so finishes. So we've, just a brief background on my cross-stitch background. I did cross-stitch when I was a kid, and did a couple of big projects, one of which hangs on my mom's wall, which I will get a picture of and start sometime in a future video. I don't have one right now. But it was a big kind of Amish scene that I spent almost a couple of years probably finishing for her, that she paid to get framed. And I did several other projects, none of which do I have, but kind of quit cross stitch for like 15-20 years and have recently picked it back up in quarantine. Did some crocheting and knitting a lot over quarantine, and then moved to cross stitch a little over a month ago. And so for finishes, we're going to show some of our other projects, because we've done a lot of art projects and various crafty projects. We'll be quick, but only a few crochet or cross stitch. So first, let's do Emily's finishes.
I've done this paint by number.
She finished this maybe a month and a half ago. This is a paint by number kit, which is a cute little dog. I've also seen this design in a diamond painting before, so it's probably a famous painting that I should know of, but I don't. It's really pretty. Okay, what else?
And then I've done this diamond painting like last year, I think.
So this is a diamond painting that Emily did, and it's kind of sparkly. It doesn't sparkle too much on camera, but we, when I diamond paint, she likes to diamond paint. When I cross stitch, she wants to cross stitch. So when I was diamond painting, she was doing projects, and this is one that she finished probably about a year ago, right? Yeah. Okay. In the beginning of quarantine, when I was crocheting, she wanted to crochet something, and it was her idea and her own pattern to create this.
Little mess.
This was before you could order masks online or anything like that. It was just her kind of creative way of making a mask. So that was a fun one. Okay, awesome. And so she's saving her stuffed animal from our puppy. So, all right, finishes for me. I'm gonna show you just two non-cross-stitch finishes, because again, I don't have a lot of cross-stitch finishes, but I did spend a bunch of time doing crochet in the last 6 months, a year. So this one was fun. We watched The Mandalorian, which had Baby Yoda in it, and so I found this pattern on Etsy of a cute little Baby Yoda. So I crocheted him. Cute. Love him. Hang on. And then I also did several blankets, but this one is a crocheted granny squares of just lots of colors because I get bored crocheting a lot of single color projects, and so this one I just pulled every yarn I had and created a massive amount of granny squares and stitched them together. Cross stitch finishes, I actually do have two that I've done in the last month or so. I decided upon watching Flosstube of Stitchin' Mommy, Sarah, and I will link her below. She is doing starting each of the Brooks Books Advent animals, which are an Advent calendar basically of individual projects, and so I started that as well. She's starting about all of them and then gonna finish them, and I'm gonna just do one at a time. And so I've finished the first two. So the first one is Katie Kitty, and this is a freebie on Brooks Books website, which was really cool, and I'll link them below as well. But you can download these still. They were released, I think, in 2017 or 2018, so they've been out for a while. But that is my Katie Kitty. Okay, and then the second one is Peter Polar Bear. Isn't he cute? All right, and this is my Peter Polar Bear. Both of these are on 18 count oatmeal Aida. And I realized after doing, especially Peter Polar Bear, that has a lot of white in it. It was called for on light blue Aida, I think, but I chose this because I had it, and I decided the white's not showing up great, so I decided to move to some other colors, and I'll show my works in progress where I've switched number 3 to a different color. But that is the finishes. We do have one surprise finish to show. So my other daughter does also do a little bit of crafting, and she is not a big fan of being in front of the camera. She wants to maybe be a photographer, so she got a camera for her birthday last week. She's 10. So she didn't want to come on camera, but she did want us to show her project. She did finish a cross stitch. It was just a stamped canvas project that we got off Amazon. It was super simple because they wanted to try cross stitch. And so this was completed by Cameron Manning. So, all right, now we'll get there. Those are works in progress. Okay, so now we're gonna move into works in progress. So Emily does have one that she's currently working on.
Elephant.
It is an elephant. Also a stamped canvas off of Amazon that she has gotten about a quarter of the way through. So she's been working on that one. I have developed several works in progress. I used to be a monogamous stitcher until I fell on Flosstube and discovered that you don't have to just do one project, so I have many. I do have one that I started a few years ago, probably like 2 or 3 years ago, that I pulled back out when I decided to get back into cross stitch. And haven't finished it. I don't know why. It's almost finished. It's really close, and I have just need to buckle down and get it done. So it is. It is called, I guess it's called Halloween by Artiste, but it is just a Halloween sign, and this is where I'm at. So I am almost done. I just have to finish the H. That guy right there doesn't have his H finished, and then some back stitching on him and the A, and then figure out how to finish it. So this is my work in progress that is almost done. I just need to pull the trigger. All right, and then I have, as I mentioned, I'm doing the Brooks Books Advent Animals. So I'm presently on number 3, which is Mary Mouse. And like I said, I decided to change fabrics, and so I am working this one on 18 counts Aida, red Christmas Aida. And so she is really cute. And I think the white will obviously pop a lot better on here. She does have some red in her skirt that's gonna blend in, and I'll decide whether to add some back stitching to make sure she shows up well. So that is Mary Mouse. most of my projects I started in Michigan when we were visiting my husband's family for the 4th of July week. And so I started several projects up there. And so I've got a lot of works in progress. But so one other project I started up in Michigan is Hot Summer by Riolis, which is this, sunflowers. I don't have a lot done, but it is started. So, this is a really cool kit I bought that I didn't know. I'm still learning so much, candidly, but I didn't realize when I bought it was different yarn than most, or different floss than most kits use. It's wool and some acrylic, but it's the majority wool floss, which is really an interesting floss to work with, so I've enjoyed it. All right, and the next work in progress I have, I started this actually like 2 days ago, is a Dimensions kit. It is called Lakeside Village. It's a gold collection Dimensions kit that I think I got at Michael's. Just got a little start on that one. Let me see if I get it right. Yeah, so that is all I've got done. Not much. Another start I did within the week, a week or two ago, is one called by Stitchrovia called Be Ink Inspired. It is kind of a tattoo style, which speaks to me because my brother is a tattoo artist, and I think the words might be backwards there. We're learning how to do YouTube, so forgive us if everything's backwards. But I just got the little corner started on that one, and this is on 18 count opalescent Ada. I'm mostly working on Ada right now because that's what the kits mostly had, or what I had on hand, although I have bought some other fabrics to try. My eyes are limited, and I've got new glasses coming, so I'm hoping to be able to see better. I do use a magnifier right now to stitch, and so I'm hoping that my new readers that should be in next week will help me do better without that. So anyway, 2 more works in progress, and then we forgot when Emily's finishes. We're gonna go back to it. But my next work in progress is oh, I didn't bring it's you can hold it up. I gotta grab the, I should know the name of the, it's by Nora Corbett, of course. Nora Corbett, and it is Eva is the name of it. She's beautiful. And she has got beads, which I've never done before and I won't be doing anytime soon. But this is Eva. Yeah. Hold it up. Okay, good. And so that one, again, not a lot of stitches. So you're like, what have you been doing? You don't have any stitches in anything. And the reason is I have spent the majority of my time on one project. So back when, hang on, it's a surprise. So back when the pandemic, or pandemic and quarantine started, I guess, is kind of when I got into this. And then shortly thereafter, I started jumping on all the Facebook groups for cross stitch, and saw that there was a free pattern coming out by Longdog Samplers. I've never done anything like this before, certainly never anything this big, never done a monochromatic piece, but it was free, and I got information about it before it was no longer available. So this is Longdog Samplers Pandemic, and if you haven't, most people know about this pattern. It's obviously very well known right now, but if you don't know about it, it is a really cool pattern that Longdog Samplers created long before there was a pandemic. They were going to release it next year for an anniversary release, and then when the pandemic rolled around, they very generously decided to release it, at least for a short period, for free on their website. And it is massive. It is 365 by 429 stitches. I am doing it on Ivory Ada 18 count with DMC 333. Emily is going to, I gotta let this part fall down, hold that up. Hold it up. So it is big. I am, according to Pattern Keeper, about 29% done. So I've gotten page 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, and I'm working on almost done with page 11 down here. It is 20 pages, so it's 5 pages across, 4 pages down. massive. I'm gonna move it in a little bit so you can kind of see. There's just some really cool motifs in this one, and it has been pretty fun to stitch, and I've been kind of addicted to it. So I made myself a goal of finishing it this year, and my logical brain did the math of what that would take. And so I am trying to get at least 500 stitches a day in it. It has 77,000 stitches in it, and I am trying to get at least 500 stitches a day and shooting for closer to 1,000 if possible. I'd love to get it done well before the holidays, but so I'm planning to do that. So that is where most of my time is gone, is pandemic, and spend the majority of my day stitching that, and then pick up other projects to kind of mix it up and get some color in my life and do other things. So that is our works in progress. Now, we're gonna back up just a minute because Emily does have one other prior finish that she wants to show. It is this bottle, it's a loom weave, right?
Weaving loom, something like that.
Yes, weaving loom that she got, and she created a little water bottle koozie with it, so.
It's supposed to be a strap, but it came off. It was on string, so it needs stronger yarn.
Need stronger yarn to make the straps. All right, so that is our works in progress. So now we're going to talk about our plans. What are your plans, Emily? What are you going to work on?
I'm going to work on this when I finish my elephant.
Okay,
Sloth.
this is a sloth kit. You can see we paid $8.99 for it. I got it at, I think, Hobby Lobby. It might have been Michael's, but I think it was Hobby Lobby. And so it's just a cute little kit. It is her first counted cross stitch project. She has done the stamped one, but she hasn't done a counted one yet. So we're going to work on that, figuring out how to do a counted cross stitch. So I know she can do it. That is her plans. As for me, I'm going to work on all these whips, and I don't really know. Obviously, pandemic, 500 stitches a day, at least. I'm almost done, like I said, with my 6th page, and so I'll be moving on to, I think, page 4 is where I'm going to go next. And so pandemic every day, and then mixing in the rest of these. I really do want to get these advent animals done before Christmas if possible. I don't know if that's possible, so I'm going to finish Mary Mouse, obviously, Mary Mouse. But I also want to do, get started and hopefully finish before our next video, the next 2. So that includes Duncan Dog and Hattie Hedgehog. So that's the plans. I'm also going to do, I signed up to do a couple of Sal's stitch alongs, and 2 of them start next week, August 1st, so soon. One of them is the Woodland Creatures Sal by 4 boys and an L girl, and that one opens up on August 1st and is a 6-week stitch along, so I'm excited about that. And then the other one is Tiny Modernist is doing a Christmas Dreams 5-part mystery stitch along that also starts August 1st. Never done a Tiny Modernist pattern. I haven't figured out what fabric I'm going to use yet, but it'll be fun. I thought it'd be fun to do some stitch alongs. Never done a stitch along, so we'll give it a try. See what happens. All right, those are the plans. So, gosh, we don't know what we're doing, so please forgive us. Hopefully we can have some fun with this. But I do want to make a couple of shout outs. Like I said, I've been watching a ton of Flosstube and have several favorites and people, but I do want to mention a few, and of course we'll link them below. One of my favorites, and actually I've become a Patreon member and a member of her YouTube channel, is Michelle Bindi Stitchy. Just connect with her. I think she's awesome, and she does some really cool stuff. She's a designer, obviously, as well as a stitcher. And I've already mentioned Stitchin' Mommy, who is Sarah, and she is the first Flosstube I found when I stumbled across this world, and was just in awe of the number of projects she works on all the time. And obviously she's doing the Advent Animals, which is really cool, but I also just admire all the work she does. Situation Normal is a woman named Kathleen who's up in Canada, and she is hilarious. She's a relatively new stitcher as well, and young stitcher. I like to consider myself young in this world, although my kids would argue. But she is hilarious, and I've enjoyed her greatly. Kathleen of Situation Normal. And then Shiloh of X Stitch MD is another one that I love watching, another Canadian, and she is does beautiful pieces, like just some really big Quakers and some samplers, some really cool stuff. I'm not a big, I mean, pandemic aside, I'm not a big sampler person. I don't know that that's ever gonna really be my style. Who knows, time changes, but I kind of am more on the modern side of the projects, but I still love to see the work that y'all do that is otherwise more sampler-esque. So that is my shout outs. Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to say?
Not really.
Okay. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Do you hope that they'll watch us and subscribe and like our video?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you want to do this again?
Yeah.
How long do you think we should wait?
At most a week.
At most a week. Oh, we're definitely making at least a week. So we gotta get work. We have to have something to show them. They don't want to see our faces if we don't have anything to talk about. So at least a week, maybe 2. We'll see how much work we get done in the next week or 2. And so we do plan to do more of them. So please follow along. We were debating in the car how many views we thought we might get. How many views do you think we're gonna get?
At least 15.
She thinks we'll get at least 15. Her sister chimed in. You want to chime in from the background? No. Her sister's lurking in the background, staring at us.
Right,
and she guessed 10. So maybe we can beat 10 or 15
at least
views.
5.
At least 5.
She said at least
I think
5.
we can pull that off on our own. But yeah, so we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. And hopefully we'll be back. Say bye.
Bye.
Doing good. Be strong.
Now on course for ground pole 707, Peter Parker and Emily Manning.